How's it going, guys? Welcome to today's video. A few of my regular viewers may remember me showing you a bin that I got sitting on my trailer. Today I've been working on it, trying to get the holes patched in the top and getting the legs cut down to the correct length. I've got all that done, so the last thing I need to do is, of course, the hardest part, and that's get it off the trailer and stood up. That's what we're doing today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. All right, so this is what I'm dealing with. I put it on with a forklift, so it was pretty easy, but I don't have a forklift here, and the boom lift on my tractor won't go high enough to just pick that thing up and hang it and set it down. So I'm gonna have to get a little bit creative. So my goal here is to take the tank, or bin, or whatever you wanna call it, and I want to set it up right here in this open spot next to my small tank. So basically what my plan is, I mix my own pig feed, and my two basic ingredients are rice and soybean meal. So what I'm thinking, because it's about a 3-to-1 ratio, give or take, so my little tank here would be perfect to store soybean meal, and then this big tank is the one that I can put rice in. So it'd be the most convenient to have them right here next to each other, so when I'm mixing my feed up, just everything's right there ready to go. But in order to get this big tank right there, I'm gonna have to reposition this trailer a little bit. And of course, I've got my squeeze chute there right in the way. Couldn't put it in a worse place. And what else do we have? A propane tank over there, but you know, if I hit that, that's probably no big deal. So let's give it a try. Let me show you the clearance that I have on everything, and let me talk about my plan a little bit. It's going to be interesting, I'll say that. Okay, so there you can see the faucet right here. We've probably got 3 feet, I'd say, of clearance, so something would have to go really wrong in order for that to become an issue. On this side, we've got all kinds of room. I'm not worried about anything over here. But what my plan is, if it works, okay, I had to get over here on the other side of the pig pen to kind of show you what I'm thinking. So that's right there is the bin. So what I'm thinking is to park my side-by-side right here where I'm standing. It's got a winch on it, and I'm gonna have to elevate the front end of the side-by-side to get the winch cable to clear this fence. But I'm gonna run the cable all the way over to the bin, attach it to the top of the bin, and then I'm gonna use that cable to like pull the bin up and tip it up on its feet. Now, I've given this a lot of thought, and I've thought about all the different ways that this can go wrong. And I think what I'm gonna have to do is attach another line from the top of the bin to the tractor so that when it reaches that tipping point, it can't go all the way over and then fall into the pig pen. So I'm gonna have to put a tow strap or a chain or something on that so that it can't completely fall the other way. We just want it to, I mean, ideally it would just kind of teeter-totter on its feet and then be fine, but there's a chance that, you know, it falls with a little bit more momentum and just falls all the way over the other way. We don't want that. So we'll have a safety line on that side so that it cannot, and you know what I might even do, probably would be smart, is attach the safety line to like a hoist or something. So I could let some slack out of the safety line, pull up with the winch, let some slack out, and just go slowly like that, and not just kind of, well, I hope it's the right length and it won't fall down. So I may do that. That's not a bad idea. The other thing though, let me show you the feet here. So in order for this plan to work, I need to create a hinge or a fulcrum here at the end of the trailer. So that's why I welded this cross piece in. I'm expecting the winch to drag the tank to the edge, which is actually what I want it to do. So what I'm thinking is going to happen is it will drag these legs we want, I mean, for it to be perfect, I would drag the legs far off, or as far off of the trailer as the trailer is off the ground. So the trailer to me looks like it's about 16 to 18 inches off the ground. So if I drag these legs so they're 16 to 18 inches hanging off the end, when I tip it up, this back leg should just set itself right down onto the ground, and there will be no violent drop or crash or anything like that. That sounds good, doesn't it? All right, so the first thing that I need to do is slide it with the winch on the side-by-side. So I need to get the side-by-side in position. I need to get all these straps off of the tank, and we'll just tug on it a little bit and see if we can move it. So I grant you that's a pretty sketchy setup there, but you know, I'm all about safety, so I think what I'm going to do is I will chain the back end of the side-by-side to the fence there so that it can't slide. As long as it doesn't slide, it should be fine. All right, that side-by-side should stay put now. Let's rig the rest of this up. Okay, so we are all rigged up here. This should work fine. This isn't awful heavy, so I'm sure that the winch can move it no problem. Honestly, I'm more worried about running the cable through these hog panels. I don't want to hurt my winch rope, and I don't want to hurt my panels, but I think just to drag this is going to be fine. I rigged up these little skis here so that the legs on the bin don't get caught on the edge of the trailer. So yeah, I think this is going to be an easy pull. I'm sure you guys could tell by the way that thing jumped, but man, it was really hard to get it moving. Once I finally got it to move, it moved pretty easy, but it was a lot harder than I thought it would be to get it started. Anyway, I think I've got those legs just about right. I might have pulled it just a hair too far, but that's okay. That's gonna work. Now I have to unhook this the way I got this rigged up and kind of reroute it, because now I need to pull from the top of the bin to get it to tip up. So I'm gonna have to redo all this rigging, but that's what we gotta do, so that's what we'll do. I think we are ready to pull. Obviously I need to get the slack out of the line, but that attaches to a chain up there. You guys saw me rig up. I've got these two. This is going to be my pivot point, hopefully, if everything works right. I decided for the safety strap, I'm gonna wait until I get the bin stood up a little bit, and then I'm gonna rig that up, because it's hard to tell how long it's gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be pretty long, actually, I'm thinking. So I just want to make sure that I don't rig it up too short and get the bin halfway up and realize that I need to put the bin back down to lengthen the safety line. So I'm gonna try to get the bin up on like a 45-degree angle, or maybe a little bit beyond that, and then I'll rig up the safety line, because we should be no danger before then. Famous last words. Let's give it a go. All right, so I don't think we quite made 45. Pretty close. But I've got the safety line set up now. There's still a lot of slack in it, but I think we're gonna be fine once it kind of gets to the tipping point. That should catch it. So, should catch it. I sure hope it does. What do you know? It worked. Things just went too smooth on that. I'm surprised. A lot of back and forth, but if you're gonna tackle a project like this, it's best to just remember to take your time. You know, I probably could have done this faster, but I would have risked, you know, breaking something or tipping the bin, which would have been terrible. So before I set it down all the way, there's one more thing that I need to do. Right now I've got about, depending on which one you look at, 1/4 to a 1/2 inch gap between the feet and the ground, and I'm going to stick some dishes under there so that the bin doesn't sink too bad. Well, it's standing. Honestly, guys, I didn't know if that was going to work or not. I mean, it all kind of worked in my head, but that doesn't always mean that it's going to work in reality. So I've got it setting on those dishes now. Those circles, they're just some scrap pieces I had laying around, which, you know, whenever you cut out a circle like that, I don't know, I always save it because you never know when you might need it for something like this. That works perfectly. Anyway, I've got it setting on those now. It's not going to be a permanent setup. Eventually I'd like to pour some piers and, you know, anchor it to some concrete and do it that way. But at the moment, I'm not entirely sure about if the bin is going to stay here or if I will eventually want to take it down to the home ranch. If I end up getting sows and breeding my own pigs, they will probably live at the home ranch, and it would make more sense to have this big bin down there. So I'm not sure right now what the future holds, so I don't want to do any kind of permanent mounting setup for this bin right now. That is going to do it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.